Hello, we are so grateful that you landed here with us. We are going to discuss the upcoming huge transit of Pluto in Aquarius that will be lasting until 2044. And we are here with your tarot forecast and your astrology forecast. But before we jump into all the goodiness and all of the fun, I would love for you to please meet my co-host, my baby, Gigi. Gigi, do you want to share with us a bit of your soul and your spirit?
Absolutely. What's up? It is so wonderful to meet you all. If you don't know me, my name is Gangsta Gurry or Gary DeAndre, as some know me. I am a spiritualist, I'm a spiritual consultant, educator, and author of the upcoming deck Tarot for You and Me coming out in May of 2024. So holla at your boy. I do tarot. I do all the things. I do all the esoteric things. I'm your spiritual woo-woo bae. So hey, you can holler at me about those things. But yes, I want to pass it back on to you.
We're gonna fight over that spiritual woo woo bay title, okay?
Listen, you can have it. You can have it. You ain't gotta fight me over it. Listen, I concede. I concede.
Love it. Yes, trademark that right now.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So as y'all can tell, we have a lot of air energy.
Yes, absolutely. It's that Libra moon.
Is that Libra moon, baby? I'm Esoteric Esa,
Mhm.
also known as your esoteric homegirl. And I am based out of Los Angeles, and I'm an astrologer, a bruja, tarot reader as well, a Reiki practitioner. I mean, when you come into this space, you just start dabbling in everything. It's all interconnected.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Listen, and the Reiki, we can talk about the Reiki at a different time. I was about to say, because that opens up all the other different portals. It just brings it all together in this very delicious way. And I'm so excited to be here with you talking a little bit more about all the things.
So everybody, please grab your pen and paper, take notes. This is going to be giving you the foundations of how to navigate this transit. That's going to be about 21 years long. It started earlier this year. But before we get into that, I have to show love to Gigi, to Gary, who is a beautiful friend in this community, in this space that I trust. I only collaborate with people that I trust. That I know, like, to me, trust is a big thing. I've been working on betrayal wounds all this life. Okay. So I'm so honored that you decided to say yes to work with me. And I just kind of want to share people a bit about like our friendship. Do you remember when we met? Do you remember I reached out to you? Do you
And
remember that?
I'm trying to remember, this had to be, I remember the timeline, and this had to be
Mhm.
like, like beginning 2021, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Please
Yes.
refresh the memory.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
it's a
Yeah,
while.
2021.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I saw you doing an amazing Instagram tarot reading. So please go follow Gigi on tarot on Instagram for their tarot readings. And I was like, who is this being? I had never come across you before. You know how every
Yes.
once in a while you find people on your Explorer page, they just, you don't know them. But I was like, who is this? And then I commented. Do you
And
remember?
it was a wrap from there. And we were just like, wait, we have to be friends. And then we started like DMing each other and emailing each other.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh my God, you're bringing it all back. It's all coming back to me.
And I still have, so if y'all are interested, find my Instagram, find both of our Instagrams. I still have our Instagram live that we collaborated on. And then, of course, we collaborated on a podcast episode because, Gary, you're also a podcaster. Do you want to share your
Yeah.
podcast?
So I have a podcast called Mystic Moments where I bring a little bit of wisdom and mysticism into your week. And I want to say, Essa came on back, and this had to be like around, no, this was around a Libra transit. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
like October-ish of that same year, October 2021, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. Because I remember, I don't know why I remember like recordings in chunks, but I remember that time frame. It was like September-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But if you check out Mystic Moments, I like to talk about what transits are coming up. I also like to talk about what's happening like in my life spiritually, because I feel like, we're all connected. And we just kind of like, shot it around and talked about what was happening in our lives and what was happening with the transits. And that's similar to what we're going to be talking about today.
Absolutely. Yes. So check out Mystic Moments streaming anywhere you can find podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love that. So why can or how can people use tarot?
Mhm.
for their personal life? Like, what is your recommendation for those of us watching here who are like, I don't know tarot, I saw it in the title, I'm interested, curious, but what do I do with it?
That is such a great question. And I feel like, especially for me, as someone who didn't grow up around seeing tarot or having it be negatively looked at or having like a negative connotation, like in my family, like for me, it was something that I was always like steered away from using. And for me, it helped me to just like be clear on what the energy of the day is looking like. It helps me to just like refocus, recenter myself, allow myself to think about what could be coming, what kind of pitfalls may be coming throughout the day. How do I store my energy and prepare myself in a way that's going to be of the best benefit so that way I can take on this day in my highest version? I think about tarot being the opportunity to commune with the highest version of yourself and be able to navigate what that person, what that energy, what that version of yourself would do if they were operating at their highest frequency.
I love that. I just felt so much warmth, so much warm love vibration when you were channeling that. And that resonates so deeply. What I've noticed for myself, and maybe for a lot of people who come with tarot, seeking tarot services from me, and maybe I attract this because it's a form of my soul aspect, right? We attract clients who are
Right.
formed of our soul aspects. And what I've noticed, like with tarot and why I use it, is I have an anxious attachment style. And so I like
Mm.
to turn to tarot when that anxiety comes in, that attachment style comes in, right? And then tarot reminds me, brings in the higher self of like, hey, let's take a real look at ourselves right now with awareness, right? Because tarot will call your ass out. And I love
Yes.
her for and it's like, first of all, yeah, why you tripping? Or first of all, why you trying to rush, right? First of all, like, where is the wound with this, right? And so it definitely checks me.
Gives
Mhm.
you a different perspective. It also is just like a lot of the time because we're always spiraling and cycling with things in our own brains. It gives us the opportunity to have a conversation with somebody that is there but is not there. And it's really just like, okay, so now I'm able to work through this and make sense of things in a way that I may not have been able to before. Where's my blind spot? How can I lean into that blind spot a little bit more? And on top of that, sometimes with that blind spot, it's about lifting it up and allowing it to be a mirror and showing it in front of somebody else to be like, hey, like, are you noticing the same thing that I'm noticing? And it allows you to be able to circumvent any issues that may be coming on the other side of
Right. Right. I love it. I love that. Blind spots.
it. Mm-hmm.
Blind spots. We all have them, especially those of us who are leaders, you know what I'm saying? And tarot or just any spiritual divination work will help you address that. So moving into astrology, as someone who is an astrology enthusiast, what are your thoughts on astrology and how people can incorporate that in their personal journey? What are your
I
recommendations?
So I feel like, because I always tell people, I'm not an astrologer. I'm always listen. Like I concede to you and your expertise, like because you be knowing all the things. But for me personally, astrology has always been super helpful for me to know what energy is kind of like surrounding me in a specific moment. And I think that personally, it's like, how does my energy intersect with the energy that's happening on a collective level? So I'm like, okay, we're in the middle of Sagittarius season right now. Okay, that Sagittarius energy is really fiery. Sometimes it's a little chaotic, but it's also very philosophical. Like we're having this type of conversation, like all of these things feel like they fit into the theme of Sagittarius energy. So it's like, how do I use my Scorpio sun, Libra moon, Pisces rising energy in order to be able to fit into what all is going on around me? So that's how I find it to be beneficial. Some other people look at astrology and they think about just like, okay, like I'm looking at my horoscope. What does it look like for me, like for this specific day? How can I best use what the moon is in? Moon is in Libra today and tomorrow. So our lunar returns are here. So listen, so it's just like all those things, it helps me to just like be mindful of where I'm at, where I'm checking in from, and also where other people may be checking in from as well.
Yes, yes, it also allows you empathy and compassion with
Mhm.
approaching yourself, but other people,
Yeah.
right? I love that. Well said. I always forget about your Scorpio sun. I think that's probably another reason why I love you so much. Yeah, my brother's a Scorpio. I have a lot of Scorpio people in my life. I have Scorpio placements, and I am always vouching for my Scorpios and my Geminis stand
Because
off, back away. I don't want, I'm trying to refrain from using the language I want to use. Like, leave them alone.
right, okay. We're being very attacked right now, and there's no reason for that. Okay, leave us alone.
Right. Goodness gracious. Y'all just ain't ready for their energy, okay?
Right, that's all it is. Y'all are mad because we are mirrors, and that's okay. Everybody can't, deal with mirrors. They don't want to look at themselves. I understand. It'd be hard out here, but don't take it out on us. That's all. I'm gonna leave it at
Exactly.
that.
Love that, baby, because there's more to it, and we
Um,
did a whole sidebar for that. So
a whole.
a whole sidebar. Let's jump into Pluto and Aquarius. Let's start with the astrology portion, and then we'll jump into the tarot portion. For those of you who are waiting for the tarot portion, Gigi's going to lead that, and you're going to want to stay for that because Gary can read tarot like a mother. So
I'm excited for this astrology portion because I know that you're about to teach us some really important stuff. So, what is this Pluto in
yeah,
Aquarius transit
well,
bringing?
yeah,
It's so
and I
big. People have been talking about it all year.
oh my gosh. So as you know, it started March of this year, and then Pluto did a final retrograde in Capricorn this year, which is why we're seeing everything that's going on globally, right?
Mhm.
Pluto, in short, the planet Pluto represents transformation, revolution, rebirth, power, and oppression. But the thing with Pluto is Pluto inspires us to take whatever is oppressing us, create the
Mhm.
alchemy, right? To create the empowerment, right? To reclaim and revoke. So
Mm.
that's Pluto. What are your thoughts on Pluto? Yeah. Well, how do you identify Pluto? How do you work with Pluto? What do you think of Pluto energy as?
So I can't like not hear in regards to just like Pluto thinking about transformation, thinking about just like being rebellious in a sense. And look at everything that's like happening like at a global level like right now, and I think about just like, okay, we are seeing like it's basically like a sense of like a revolution, and people are tired, and there's a sense of a revolution that's happening like
Yes.
internally as well. And I feel like that's where Pluto shows up for me. Pluto shows up a lot of the times as far as like being sick of my own stuff and
Yeah.
being like, okay, what am I going to do about it? And not just what am I going to do about it, but how am I going to alchemize whatever is already bothering me and turn it into something that could be of benefit to me. And a lot of the times that doesn't get done on my own. That has to be done in community or, with assistance. And I think a lot of the times we forget that. So I
Yeah.
try to remind myself, like, okay, like you can make a change, but it takes some action and some releasing and some transformation of what already exists. It's not getting rid of completely, it's just shifting it into a new energy.
Absolutely. Because Pluto is all about restructuring,
Hmm.
right? The revolutionary energy. It's about restructuring and moving it forward. With Pluto, we don't go back. We simply
Mm-hmm.
go forward. We burn that shit to the ground and we rebuild anew. We don't go back with the same design to be the architect. We have to envision a new design to be
Hmm.
this new form of architect. And that's what Aquarius is bringing in with this transit. Because Aquarius, as you know, is very future oriented, right?
Yeah.
It is. And, with that being said, we are shifting into higher consciousness as a collective with this transit. And we're already seeing that, right? Aren't more people waking up? More people are ascending quicker. The people who have woken up, right? Like our clients, our peers, our loved ones, like they're ascending fast. Have you noticed that?
They're being more mindful. There's a mindfulness, there's an inquisitiveness, there's
Right.
a hey, what I've always done and what I've always believed, I don't really like align with that anymore. And now I want to do something different. And I've been noticing that a lot in my communities where it's just like it's this sense of like growing up. Like people are
Yes.
growing up.
Yes, it's a soul urge. And to your point, that growing up is that Saturnian energy because Gigi Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, right? Traditionally. And Uranus is the one that's moving us really fast in these timelines. But Saturn's also bringing in that maturity, right? Because we can move really fast, but when you move really fast, that's when you open up room to make mistakes, right? But
Yeah.
Saturn's coming in and giving us that stability to make sure that we move with intention. You brought up people are tired. People are
Hmm.
tired of it, right? People are reclaiming their voice. They're advocating for their rights, their basic human rights,
Hmm.
right? Not even just globally, but here in the States, like better wage, right? Our livelihoods, like how can we survive off of the minimum wage when we
Yeah.
know that's not realistic?
Hmm.
the last few times that Pluto went into Aquarius in the 1500s and in the 1700s, based on research, that was when people, either they were, you know, the lower class people, the peasants, whatever, the common folk, they flipped the caste system and they flipped power. And I think we're going to see that. Are you already noticing that?
I'm starting to notice it. It's just because people are not willing to sit and take what has always been seen as just like standard. And people are starting to notice, like, I think I saw a graphic where it was like in 2020, it was smarter to buy compared to rent. And now in
Mm.
2023, it's smarter to rent compared to buy. And that just goes to over across America. Like, so to see that shift in 3 years is just a sign of how things are changing. The
Mhm.
landscape is changing, and people are not going to take it sitting down anymore. And I am one of those people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that Pluto gives us again that sense of empowerment where we are willing to like finally speak up instead of hoping and wishing behind the scenes. And the
Yes.
beautiful thing, yeah, and the beautiful thing with the Aquarius energy, and tell me what your thoughts on this is, you know, you mentioned earlier when it comes to healing, bringing that community aspect. And I know we saw that a lot over the pandemic, but
Mhm.
the pandemic also taught me that like our social skills changed a lot, right? Because we weren't in community. And as humans, basic needs is to interact in community. We've always been in villages, right? We've always been, you know, in communities. And so the pandemic made us really isolate that Scorpio energy, right? And
Mhm.
now that Pluto, which is that scorpionic energy again, going into Aquarius, which is all about humanitarianism and collectiveness and community and healing, I think what we're going to see, and tell me your thoughts on this, is people going into interesting communal spaces being like, okay, I want to be in community again, but it's going to be really emphasized on like super niche, like,
Yes.
yes. Okay. What are your thoughts on that? Tell me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did not mean to cut you off. It's
No,
super.
yes,
No,
yes,
no, no, no.
do it.
Because you're right on it. It's like people are figuring out exactly what community they want to be a part of. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, like people are noticing what their own interests in their own hobbies are because those are the things that make them feel safe.
Mhm.
And they're starting to, people are looking for safety in whatever way that they can. And the only way that you tend to find safety is in shared groups. Um,
Exactly.
and because our shared groups have become so expansive because of the
Mhm.
expansion of social media,
Yes.
especially over the pandemic, that's when everybody got online.
Yes.
Now you have to be even more specific, especially in light of everything that's happening with cybersecurity. So it's like, and that adds a different layer, especially with Pluto going into Aquarius. Um, so with all of that combined, it's like people are just looking for places to be able to feel like themselves because the spaces that they may have been finding themselves in pre-pandemic don't provide that same sense of family that it
Yeah.
used to because they're aware that that's actually not the family that they thought that they thought it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. It was a great starting point. I'm even feeling that as a practitioner. Are you feeling that too? Like,
Absolutely.
right, with your medicine and your magic and maybe getting more granular or completely making different shifts in it and the approach or like what you're studying are going to offer. Are you feeling that?
Or who I offer to, what I'm offering,
Mhm.
what does access look like to me? Um,
Yeah.
and also just like the sense of, because you've been a practitioner for quite some time, like basically leaning out of being just accessible in the same way as a practitioner, like, and leaning more into another title, into another hat for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like shifting
Yeah.
all of those mentalities has been something really, really important for me lately. And I've been noticing that now it's like, okay, like, yes, this is something that you've been able to focus on for some time and been able to be of service and you'll still be able to do that, but now it's time to pick up something else, study something else, become a master in
Master.
something new. Yep.
Yes. Absolutely. And we'll even see like people, those of you watching, making dramatic shifts of like going to a whole new career a whole new field of work. And people that you know and love, like practitioners, probably leaning more into different denominations of themselves. You know, maybe they were once really Reiki focused and now they're just, I don't know, hypnotherapy focused. So it's going to get really granular. Like you said, going back into those niche communities that make us feel safe. Like for me personally speaking, this is this is the okay. I'm gonna laugh. I'm laughing. I really want to get into bird watching.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love
Yeah,
that.
I know. It's
I
so
love that.
random. Intrigued by birds lately, so I want to find a community where I can go and learn and be around these people where this is normalized, right? It's an affinity that's okay, so I can expand and grow and whatever that's going to take me into. I don't know what, you know,
Mhm.
but where are you finding yourself in interesting aspects like that where you're like, I really want to take up this, or I really want to learn something about this?
It's funny you asked me that because I feel like this morning I was cursing at myself.
Uh-huh.
I was literally this morning, maybe like 3 hours ago, saying, you know, you have all of this time and you should be taking up some new hobby or something new, like adding something different to basically just like the life that I already have.
Right.
Because I'm like, you have the time to be able to do such, but it's like figuring out what that looks like. And last night I was playing video games with some
Uh-huh.
friends and I was like, I haven't done this in so long. I miss doing this. Like just those little things that I was like, oh, like maybe I should get back into these things that I used to do when I was a teenager that used to be so much fun. Specifically, gaming with friends was really, really popping for me when I was in my early 20s. So it's like
Uh-huh.
bringing that back. It just brings a sense of peace to me.
Yes, it's like a new take, right, on that nostalgia. I
Yeah,
love that. And video games are very Aquarius energy, by the way.
did not
They,
know that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that example. Wonderful example. So, just a couple more things I want to add to that is more people are going to be opening up,
Mm-hmm.
embracing, and activating their starseed DNA.
Tell me more about
Mm-hmm.
that. Because I've heard things, but I want to hear from you.
Because everybody has starseed DNA. Everyone has different portals and consciousness in their natal charts that tells us their soul has consciousness from Lyra, from Sirius, right? From Regulus, etc. And so I think because we're raising that Aquarian vibration here in humanity and we're becoming that future human timeline now, imprinting it here, people are going to wake up to the concept of star seeds, or who are already waking up to that, activating it, because what we're doing with Pluto and Aquarius is, again, we're reforming, we're revolutionizing humanity for better quality of life for people. So what are your thoughts on that? That
I'm
lit you up. I saw that.
yeah, I'm like I'm ready for a new beginning. Um,
Mhm.
and I feel like it's the beginning that people thought was going to happen a couple of years ago, but
Yes.
it's actually happening now.
Now. Mhm.
And now it's time for us to welcome it in
Mhm.
because we're starting to realize that we tried to go back to what things were really, really quickly, and that
Mm.
didn't work. So now it's time to start over and
Absolutely.
be okay with starting
Absolutely.
over.
Absolutely. I think what you were referencing was the Great Conjunction when Saturn and Jupiter met together in Aquarius. Remember that happened in 2020
Yes.
and 2021, right? And it was a big
Yes.
deal because it hadn't happened in 20 years. And we saw a boom in the spiritual community, right? It was lit, right? Everyone was becoming a healer. Fabulous. Love it, right? Business for us was like booming and popping,
Yeah.
right? And I think it set the imprint and the tone for what's to come. It slowed down a bit. Again, why? Because Pluto's in Capricorn, a very slow moving planet,
Hmm.
just finished retrograde, right? Having us finally revisit all those old paradigms of that Capricornian energy that we're seeing a lot of boomers and traditionalists, like whether it's politicians, our elders, people who aren't ready for the Aquarian consciousness, they're either dying, right? A lot of elders are dying right now and passing because they didn't sign up for this. They're like,
That's
we
true.
like the old paradigm, right? Right. And we're gonna see like people like, okay, I don't want to get too political, but like boomers like Biden, people in those positions of power, the youth, Gen Z is super effing Aquarian. They're going to change all of that. They're going to help
Mhm.
change that leadership and give us millennials the support we've been needing for so long that we couldn't rely on older generations for, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I was also gonna say on top of that, I know that Gen Z is getting ready to like in the next like couple of years, they will make up more of the workforce than
Oh my
um
God.
I
They
guess
outnumber us.
yeah, they are the
They
workforce.
outnumber us.
So
Absolutely.
it's going to be a huge shift. And I'm
Hmm.
interested to see what the response is because that's going to have a ripple effect through the entire fabric
Right, right.
going on.
You know how I view us millennials? I view us as in the middle. Like we have all the boomers and the traditionalists who have like that old highway that needs to be repaired, right? And then we have the Gen Z who has the future of the highway that is like the future visionary path forward. And then millennials, we were in the middle to like patch things forward, right? To help bring in that new paradigm. So it's gonna be really interesting. The last thing I want to say before we get into tarot is the sun in Aquarius is debilitated, Gigi. Because when the sun is in Aquarius, so like people who are like an Aquarius sun like me, one thing we have to make sure of because we're debilitated is reining in on the ego, because the ego can be very like worse than the sun in Aries. I mean, the sun in Aries is actually very, very positive, but when the sun is in Aquarius, people can become very egocentric. So with
Mm.
Pluto is power, domination, right? So let's talk about the low vibrational aspects. In Aquarius, I feel that there could be a rise of cults, cult leadership, cult groups, people going into positions of power. Yes, whether it's through technology, through science, or some of that being revealed to us, like who's been in these spaces, Bill Gates, who have been okay, like
Hmm.
we're gonna see that collective power, world leaders, cult leaders, a lot of those be finally thrown out and banished, and people like Elon Musk are going to have to answer to the jury of public perception, and they're going to either have to revolutionize for the better or we're going to kick them out. That's just what it is. What are your thoughts on this?
Listen, if it means that people that have been historically for years hurting others or putting other people in harm's way in order for their own monetary gain, we need to get them out of here. It makes me think about the fact that we've been seeing a lot of like specifically like men who have what's the word I'm looking for, with sexual assault, like
Yeah.
being brought down over the last like couple
Yes.
of months,
Yes.
specifically the last like couple of months. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now we're just going to wipe out all of the BS because we don't need to have that type of energy in the fabric of our system. It does nothing for us as a community. It only separates us more.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. I think that is a great way to just kind of remind people that the work we've been doing in prior movements, like with the Me Too movement,
Hmm.
you know, all of that was foundation to finally get us to this Pluto and Aquarius timeline where and even standing up for human rights for people like in the Middle East. What the work we're doing now, once Pluto gets into Aquarius, it will streamline that process. There will be less hesitation, but there will be one final go around with the old power paradigm to
Hmm.
fight to cling on, because what else are you going to do, right? You don't want to let your whole empire fall, right? You're going to try and give it one last battle. So, with that being said, I love your contributions. So on point. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing all of this because it makes me think about just like what we can expect. And I
Mm.
also thinking about that this is going to be such a longer like
Oh,
transit. It is not
oh,
going to be something that's going to be intense and immediate. So
no.
letting things fall into place the way that they're supposed
Yes.
to, instead of expecting things to fall into place like with some sense of urgency.
Exactly. Thank you for that reminder because people really expect that with astrology, and it's like, no, it's energy. It needs to come
Mhm.
down from the higher timelines into this really dense third dimension. And Pluto is a generational planet. So when we say it's generational, it affects the global consciousness. But again, it takes generations for it to also manifest and for us to
Mhm.
see the results or the side effects. So I love that you set expectations. Thank you for that reminder. I really appreciate that. Let's get into the juicy tarot collective
Yeah.
forecast. So tell us, you take this over. You run this ish. Let's go.
All right. So thank you for passing it off to me. I really do appreciate all of what you have shared in regards to Pluto and Aquarius and what we can expect. What I'm going to be doing that was just passed on to me from the universe, we're going to do a past, present, future spread, basically just to see what we can expect for Pluto and Aquarius, what the energy is going to be bringing from the past, what energy we've been focused on action wise, what energy the present when we get into Pluto and Aquarius, what we need to be focused on, what the future will bring towards us, and the actions that we should be taking in order for us to make sure that we're staying connected to that.
Love
So
that.
so just so that way we know what I'll be using, I will be using oh, you guys can't see it, but it's called the Everyday Witch Tarot. And I actually will unblur my video so that way you all can get into the full geesh. She's got Christmas lights going on since it is the holiday season.
I
But
love it. Festive. Yes.
yes, a little festive. But I want to go ahead, set intentions, universe, Heavenly Father, Earth Mother, spirit guides, ancestors known and unknown. We are asking for a little bit of guidance on today to figure out what is the tea in order to know what's happening with Pluto and Aquarius. Thank you so much for the readers, to the listeners, and for anybody that comes across this video. Amen and ashe in advance. Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius is going to be okay. So this is also sometimes before I like start pulling cards, I start getting downloads. So like the
See it.
downloads is
I
all
see it.
about like, Pluto's going to be, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's not going to be the fun that you think it's going to be, because it's going to keep you on your toes, right? I think a lot of the times we love to have things like laid out, and we like to have plans. We like to have our ideas like fall into place. We can have a plan, but the universe is always going to do what it's going to do. So just allow that to be your reality. Another thing that's going to be important with this Pluto and Aquarius transit is it's like a freedom. People are looking for this sense of flirtiness and freedom. And what does it mean to be fun, flirty, and free? It means to be living with a sense of excitement, a sense of joy, a sense of peace. And I think that we as a collective have been struggling to have that, especially through the year 2023. Especially over the last, let's be real about it, the last 3 years have been very intense. So I think this is a call to bringing back what it means to be in joy and what it means to be in community and have that sense of joy as well. So let's see, what do we have for past? Okay, fantastic. And then we have present and future. So the past comes up as our Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles, whenever I pull this card, it makes me think about the type of work, who we have been working with, what work has been getting done, has collaboration been going well for us? It makes me think about who have we been collaborating with, who has been a part of our team, who has been a part of our tribe. Does everybody see things the same way? And I think that a lot of what we have been thinking about recently is how much we've grown,
Yeah.
and the people that we've grown alongside, are they growing in the same direction as us? And it's okay if they're not,
Oof.
but if they're not growing in the same direction as us, can they still speak our same language? Because that's important too. If you can't speak the same language, how are you going to communicate? There are ways to communicate, but it's a little bit more difficult. And that becomes hard to be able to maintain because you can't do it with the same frequency that you once used to.
Yeah.
So what we've been dealing with is being able to look at all of these components with the Three of Pentacles. And I think that this has pointed to the fact that we need to be mindful of how we have been working with ourselves and working with others. Because it's not just about the relationship that we have with others, it's about the relationship that we have with the various versions of ourselves.
Mhm.
And we have to allow ourselves to be mindful of, we did the best that we could with what we knew at the time based on the situation. So giving ourselves a little bit of grace in order to move forward. How does that feel for you? Does that resonate for you as
Oh,
far as what's been happening with us over the last, I would say, how long has Pluto been in Capricorn for? It's been in Capricorn for a while.
it's 2008.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that's been a theme. I was gonna say I graduated high school in 2008. So ever since then, that's a theme. That is a theme.
Russians.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to add to that really quickly. Oh my God, you spoke to my soul. I'm gonna say you took me to church. I'm gonna touch on your Baptist background real quick. Because one thing I was telling my life coach, just very recently in one of our most recent sessions was I have been holding back from outgrowing people that I know I'm ready to outgrow. And I'm just sad because of that mourning process. It doesn't mean I don't love them, doesn't mean I won't continue loving them. But I know that if I allow myself to keep shifting into this new vibration, naturally, right, friendships and relationships have to kind of fall with that. It's just the
Yeah,
domino. Mhm.
absolutely. And it's like the relationship doesn't necessarily go away. It's just the energy gets manipulated into something different.
Yes.
And you both get to decide what that looks like. But that also is a conscious, it's a conscious conversation. And some people are willing to have it, some people aren't.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I find that very interesting because we have the Ace of Swords as our present card, what
Wow.
Pluto in Aquarius is going to be bringing. And
Yes.
that's just a sharpness, intellect, wit, a
Mhm.
clarity of mind, being like, aha, I got it. I've pulled the sword out from the stone, and now I can see clearly. I know where I'm going. I know what my power is. I know what my direction is. And I think that a lot of us have been just floating,
Mhm.
really. I watch a lot of reality television, specifically competitive reality television, and they always talk about like floaters never win. Floaters never, they rarely win, but like floaters are the type of people in the game where it's like you know that they're there,
Right.
but what are they really doing?
Right. Unless they have a really strong social game that's gonna make them stand out, but otherwise, no.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Other than that, they're just taking up space. And some of us have just been taking up space. But it's clear that right now what this is doing is, as you were sharing, as far as like Pluto and Aquarius is going to bring in a lot of cults being brought down, like a lot of like things that have not been able to be tackled are being tackled. Things that are
Right.
needed to be tackled in your life will be tackled in your life as well. So this is all about the clarity that's going to come with that. And also, as you can see on the card, it's all about looking towards the sky and looking towards the future and claiming, having faith. Okay, faith, not fear, is going to be really, really important during this season. For the
You know,
next
mhm,
20, how many years?
20,
24,
20,
20.
21, 21 years.
Wow. Faith, not fear for 21 years. Bars.
Yes. Okay. Tarot readers are also fabulous freestylers,
There
right?
you go.
Bars on bars on bars. Yo, I want to add to that real quickly on that card, the visual. You see all those birds, right, flying around, and the sword of truth there, the sword of enlightenment, right? Because Aquarius is air energy. We get that intellect, that enlightenment, that clarity. You and I were talking about that offline. And those birds to me, I feel are a representation of like the collective being like, I see these birds, right? They're flying around me, aka I see these distractions, these falsities. I'm no longer looking at, oh, look at that bird, or gravitating to that. I have my sort of truth. All these distractions, right, all these
Mhm.
falsities can keep coming at me, but I know with this sword where the direction is, where the path of truth is. Whereas
Yes.
where people were so like susceptible to falling prey to that
Hmm.
bird of predator.
Giving big Seven of Swords energy, like
Yes.
like trickery, like
Mm.
things are kind of like happening behind the scenes, like deception. And no, we're clear, we're clean, clear, and under control and ready to go.
Yes.
And our
Love.
last that comes up, our future card, you can't make this up. The Six of Pentacles.
Oh, I love
So
that.
as you can see on the card, it's literally like giving and receiving. If you give and receive, you will receive the grand prize, which is happiness, which is joy, which is peace, which is what we said we wanted in the first place. I literally channeled that before these cards came out. That we are looking for joy, we're looking for peace, but the only way that that's happening is by us being mindful of the ways that we are giving and receiving to others. Karmic, it's karmic
It really is. It is because that's ruled by Libra, Venus.
yeah,
She is karma.
yeah.
Hmm.
And on top of that, I find it interesting that we had the Three of Pentacles as our past and the Six of Pentacles as our future. So we're only getting bigger and better, baby.
Yeah. And you know what else? I tapped into that too, is we got 3 people in both of those cards. So it's
Interesting.
the evolution of, yes, look at that. It's the evolution from the 3 with the 3 individuals, right? Creating, and now we're cultivating a bigger reward, bigger harvest, still keeping in mind comrades, camaraderie, right? Collective community, right? We are better together. We are stronger together.
Yes. And even if you want to get granular with it, like think about the 2 people in your life that have really held you down through this time. And like take some time to really just tell them today, like, thank you for holding me down. Let's ride out these next 21 years.
Will you have me for the next 21 years, please? It's like friendship.
Okay, please. Okay, listen, you better renew that friendship contract.
Right. I love that. Wow, those cards. I mean, I say wow because like so powerful now, not wow because I'm surprised, because I know who you are. I know the spirits you walk with. This is why spirit was like, we have to co-create this,
Gotta
because
do
I,
this.
it's
Yes.
it's so beautiful, and like, oh my God. I mean, I hope people who are watching find some inspiration in that message that was channeled. And like you said, I really feel that we are getting into, yes, there's still going to be like some things that are going to be heavy and real to deal with, but we're moving out of Capricorn energy. Thank
Mhm.
goodness. And things are going to get lighter, because Aquarius is air. It likes to float, it likes to flow, it likes to move, right? Where Capricorn has kept us slow and steady, nice and slow and steady, and ooh, us air signs.
Yes, I like to be floaty. I like to be kind of flase da, as I like to say it. I need to be able to maneuver when I want to maneuver. That's what I find, exciting about me. So we need to
Yeah.
get back to that. So come on, Miss Aquarius.
We shall. We shall. Exactly. We shall. I think a lot of people will feel that energy collectively. So, what are your final thoughts on anything today, or final messages, new channeled notes you want to share? Anything to end the session?
The word new chapter keeps coming. And I keep feeling this sense of like, there's some of us out there that have been waiting for like a new beginning, or like trying to figure out when the new chapter is going to start. So like know that it is on the horizon, and stay hopeful, like at least stay hopeful and stay with us through this,
Yeah.
because listen, it's been rough out here.
Yeah.
It has been rough. So please hold tight, because help is on the way. Uh,
Mhm.
and that's what comes to my spirit. What about for you?
Oh, that I love that. That really hit my soul in a beautiful way, and also like a grieving kind of way. We've lost, a person this year in not the best capacity. And I think it's a wonderful reminder to remind people that you are not alone, you are not helpless. People love you. You can lean on help. There's always someone there who wants to hear you, who wants to hold you, who wants to hug you. And like Gigi said, the hard times are going to clear up. The clouds and the storm is clearing away, and the sunshine is just one day away. Take it day by day.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. I felt that one in my soul as well. Absolutely.
Mhm. So we love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Gigi's channels. What is your YouTube channel, Gary?
You can find me at Dominicano27. Dominicano has a 0 in it. I made it when I was like 14. Please
I
don't judge
love it. I love it. Yes. We're
me.
bringing back that Dominicano. Okay.
Okay, there you go. Or you can just find me. I think I'm on here as Gangsta Gurry. You should be able to find me if you type me into YouTube. And
Yeah.
I'll
And then where can we book your services? What services are you going to offer, I guess, maybe next year, 2024?
So I will be offering a yearly spread where I basically talk about what you can expect for the year 2024.
Love that.
I didn't do them last year because they are very taxing, and I have a very small, limited amount open this year. So if that is something that you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to me. And I also do candle magic, candle Reiki as a Reiki practitioner. So I use the energy of fire in order to send you and help burn through any of those blocked chakras that you might have. So if that's something that you're interested in, holla at me. I'm around.
Yes, love that. And we, of course, have all of Gary's channels below. So you can go follow, book, connect with. Even we'll leave a tip jar. Do you have a tip jar?
I do not, but maybe I should invest in one for the new year.
Yeah, you can do that through Buy Me a Coffee.
Okay, I'll start doing
Yeah,
that. Look at you putting me on to something
yeah,
new.
it's a free account. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. Anyone out there, you can have that. Okay, and they just tip you there. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Gary, for being here with us. Love you, appreciate you. Yes. And thank you everybody for watching, and keep doing your best, because your best is your best.
Amen.
Absolutely. Amen. Okay, bye everybody. Thank you.